We have a quorum?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so this meeting might get lengthy, so I wanted to start with the presentation of workforce development. Laura?
Kitty had asked me back in June, I believe it was, the end of June, to look at what might be happening around the county in terms of outreach to people about looking at corrections as a career opportunity.
Edward's in.
So I went and did some research on it, and Kitty asked me to share it with all of you today. Currently, in the county, between the two prisons and the jail, there's about 664 correction officer positions. That's about 11% of all the government workers in the county. When you're, it is definitely a good paying job, especially for starting out. As a trainee, you start out at a little over $39,000 for the first 26 weeks. Second 26 weeks of your training, you can go to 41,000 and change. And when you become a correction officer, you make just under 47,000. If you work downstate, you get additional monies for that. Obviously, any shift differential of overnight, you get additional money for that. There's lots of benefits, naturally. There's the health, dental, vision, and life. There's leave benefits. There's retirement, and then there's also tuition reimbursement. So even though college is not required to become a correction officer down the road, if it's something that you want to pursue, there is tuition reimbursement. And they're union positions. So the initial qualifications to become a correction officer trainee is 21, high school diploma, GED, and a U.S. citizen. You can take the exam if you're 19 or 20. You just can't get appointed until you're 21. You have to pass the written exam. You also have to pass a psychological evaluation, drug testing, thorough background check, fingerprinting. If you have a felony conviction, you cannot be a correction officer. Certain misdemeanors and violations can bar you from that. And for young people, if you were adjudicated as a youthful offender, depending on what that is, that can bar you. You have to, the 12 months after you pass the written exam consists of 8 weeks of training at the Correctional Services Training Academy. That's a lot of classroom training, as well as the physical training where you have to qualify with a series of different levels. After you complete that, you move on to an on-the-job training for 3 weeks. The Department of Corrections in Albany decides where that's going to be. And then after that, you're assigned by Albany to a prison facility based on the department's needs for the balance of your training. Once you're done and you're a full correction officer, then you could request a transfer if you wanted to go somewhere closer to where you live. The outreach that's done when an exam is about to be given by the Department of Corrections is obviously on their website. They do newspaper ads, they do radio ads, and the prisons then, they use the prisons themselves within their areas to get the word out. In advance of the most recent test that was given in April, the One Stop Center, we held 2 outreach sessions in February that were very well attended, where the prisons came and COs came and talked about the career of the testing and all of that that's involved. One of the things that we did also was to reach out to the school guidance counselors across the county, and we asked them 4 basic questions. Do you specifically talk about corrections as a career? Do you have career days, or do you invite businesses in? If you do you invite the prisons? And if not, would you be interested in doing that? All but one school district responded. There's only 2 schools that don't specifically talk about corrections. They all do, and it ranges from if a kid has an interest in criminal justice, they'll talk to them about that, to one particular school, Livingston Manor, that does a very targeted promotion on an annual basis of corrections as a career. One school has a career day, and they've not included corrections in the past, but they would in the future. Livingston Manor is the one that has corrections every year come, and they speak to all the kids. There were 3 other schools as a result of this that said they would be interested in having the prisons come. What came out of that, which was really clear to me, was even though the school districts talk about it, they talk about it in terms of a young person that has an interest in criminal justice. When, if you think about all the correction officers that you know, the majority of them took the test and became a CO because of the money and the benefits. not necessarily because they had an interest in criminal justice. So we're putting a informational flyer together that we're gonna send to the schools in terms of talking to all of the kids about that, especially for the young people that aren't really interested right now in going on to college, but really do need to get an employment opportunity that pays well. The most recent test that was given in April, according to the New York State Civil Service, there were 19,148 people that applied to take the exam. And 14,847 of them actually took it. Out of the folks that took it, 11,714 passed. For Sullivan County, roughly 1,579 folks applied for the exam, which was 8% of the total. 1,301 actually took it, which was 9% of the total that took it. And out of those, 1,038 passed, or 80% of the Sullivan County applicants passed the test. They just started sending out the letters in terms of where people ranked. You know, I had one person tell me they're like 8,700 and something. So it's gonna be a while for them. So that's, it's gonna be a while.
They'll go to the new jail.
Yeah, really, right, just in time for that. So that was pretty much what I put together for this group. I don't know, Kitty, if you had any additional questions or if
No,
anybody
I
else
want to thank you for
does.
presenting this, and I want to mention one of the reasons why I asked Laura to do this is because I learned from my son-in-law, he's a corrections officer in one of the state prisons, that many of the corrections officers that are working down here in Sullivan County are coming from the North Country, and I thought that seems a little absurd when we're looking for decent paying jobs for our own people, and I thought, well, why are our own citizens not applying for a good paying job that is a job in this county? So I appreciate the work that you put into this, and I think encouraging people to sit that exam might be worthwhile, because the age of people retiring out of this system, we're gonna have a large retirement of that population, so it is an opportunity for the people who live in this county to continue to work in this county and have a decent living wage. And that's why I asked Laura to do this, so thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next item that's up for presentation is Cornell Cooperative Extension and the building. I'd like Greg to come have a seat up here and lead this discussion.